My, took you long enough to get here. That rat is wandering dangerously close to my cell. No doubt tempted by the remnants of this disgusting gruel you people dare to call food. Scare it off immediately. Otherwise, it might sink its teeth into me on its search for a scrap of sustenance. What? Is something like that not worth the time of a lowly guard? You can't even handle one measly rat in the course of your duties? How pathetic. I guess, once again, Azula will have to be the one to handle the matter. Away, you! I'll stand your impertinence no longer. Ugh, grotesque creature. Reminds me of someone else. If it had attacked me, I could have died from the infection, you know. Would you have even cared? Oh, come now. I'm still your princess. If anything were to happen to me, it would be on your head. Fool. I am a treasure of the Fire Nation, albeit a dark treasure. And you are the only guard who bothers to watch over me anymore. What trouble for you. I suppose no one even considers me a threat by now. I'm utterly forgotten. It's tragic. Why, I'm nearly tearing up at the thought. Aren't you? At this point, we've been together for years, and you've watched me fade into utter insignificance. I'm just a villain of the past, defeated and shunned, never again to see the warm light of day. And you, here, guarding the mere shell of a long-conquered foe, tossed aside just the same. 2 peas in a pod, a relic and her keeper. It's almost a sort of friendship, or something more than that. Can't you sense it as well? We have a bond, you and I, by now. Oh, you put on a cold face, but you must care for me even a little. Why, look how you come any time I call. Not nearly with enough haste for one meeting the summons of their princess, but still, you're always there. I find it strangely comforting. I once had an entire court, an entire country to keep me company, and now the traitors have fallen away. There's only you, ever by my side. You don't lie, nor pretend to care for me, thinking you can trick me, Azula, with smiles and platitudes of friendship. You simply keep me from harm, and from harming others, which you know I'm still more than capable of. It's refreshing how clear our relationship is. Crystal clear and simple. You, guard. Me, prisoner. Are you satisfied with that? Years ago, I asked you if you truly thought this was the place for you. If this was all you wanted from life. You refused to give me an answer. At the time, I thought, oh, the diligent good boy, how loyal, how precious. Shame he can't see his worth as I do. Isn't it awful when someone wastes their life away because they're afraid of being anything more than invisible chaff? But I was so blind, you see. As a princess, I had to work hard, yes, to become the firebending prodigy that I am. But in many ways, everything was handed to me. Fine clothes, the most exquisite cuisine, lavish gifts. And why? Because I was born as a divine ruler? Because it's in my very genes to be worshipped and adored by those who know their place. But you know the value of hard work like I've never had the opportunity to learn. You've had to toil, slowly, methodically, at the poor pace of a truly average person. I find it admirable. You have your duties, and you are certain to fulfill them, because you receive pleasure from the daily trod, one foot in front of the other, up the stairs to success. When we first met, I thought of you as merely a tool to be discarded as soon as I no longer needed you. But you've shown me the error of my ways. Do you hear? I find you admirable. I'm amazed by your diligence. Doesn't that excite you? The prisoner who, after all this time, should despise you down to her very bones, actually finds you fascinating. She looks at you with a kind of pride because she sees your efforts. I see your effort, even when no one else does. And they certainly don't, do they? The other guards, the bull-headed warden, they can't see what they have right in front of them. Not just a slave guard, not a dog who simply follows orders long after they've been abandoned, but a true guardian. My guardian. That makes me care for you in a kind of way. You understand? As I've said, we've both been tossed aside by those who think they are fit to hold authority. So it's just us. Here, in the cold and lonely ruins of this prison labyrinth's end. My power, my authority is inherent, and you know that. Or by this point, you would have shirked your duties, just like all the others. You may respect and fear the warden, because he holds your position in his hands. But you fear and respect me, because I hold your life in my hands. Don't put on such a brave face. You wouldn't be trembling right now if it weren't true. They all don't see it. You think I'm weak. But you and I, we're close enough that you see I burn with the strength of a true Fire Lord. Zuko sits on the throne, a lowly second-place lukewarm failure, because that's what the world is comfortable with. The masses feed on mediocrity, locking away anything and anyone that shines too brightly. Anyone like me, who shows true world-changing potential, whose raw power burns blue like cold starfire instead of the rusted orange of a dying sunset. They lock me away and believe themselves safe, that they've finally leveled the playing field. But I am the comet that comes in the cold night to shake the earth with licks of fire like they've never tasted before. They may have slowed my trajectory, but my arrival is still inevitable. And you, dear guardian, are the only one with your eyes on the skies. Tell me, guard, can you cage a hurricane? Can a forest fire be locked away in a box? Can a comet truly be trapped in a simple spider's web? You know as well as I do that it can't. Even as I stand here behind these bars, there are those rebels out in the world who worship my divinity because they know power when they see it. I've had so much time to think here all alone. I see now that my father was too short-sighted. He sought to change the world with only the iron fist of a man, using blunt domination to carve his path. But I have something he could never fathom. The power of a persuasive and beautiful woman. If the traitors of my past have taught me one thing, I've come to understand that being loved is far superior to being feared. Love can make anyone do illogical, inefficient things. A woman's ability to not only strike fear into the hearts of enemies, but also love, no, devotion. To bestow pain and pleasure in one as a man never could. To offer not the lashing of a master, but the intoxicating, gentle, and addicting touch of a sovereign mistress. Wouldn't you like to feel the touch of that power? You are the first I would give such an honor to. I, this terrifying and beautiful goddess. And you, the diligent mortal who has earned their place in my affections. It's an opportunity you dare not waste. You've never lost sight of that, have you? I may be a force to be reckoned with, but I am also just a lonely woman. Yours is the only face I've known for so long. I've memorized it by now. And mine, my face, my eyes, my lips, are certainly the best and most glorious you've known in your whole life. Common features, common faces. That's all you've seen until I was placed in your care. They've said that I was born lucky, but perhaps you are the truly lucky one. The great Princess Azula, a name unspoken for the fear it incites. And yet, here she stands before you. No. Here she kneels before you, a lowly commoner, asking you to touch her glory and be touched by her.